Welcome back to my channel. So during this video I am going to be using my Anastasia's Jackie Aina collab eyeshadow palette. I used to love to use this eyeshadow palette. Look at those colors, they are super duper pretty. Now I have not used all the colors, but you can see the ones I've mainly used each time I've used it. I used to love to use this palette. The shimmers are so pretty. Now you never can go wrong with Anastasia anyway. I've never had any issues with any of her formula. So we are going to go ahead and get started, because y'all know your girl will ramble up something and be all over in left la la land somewhere talking about something else to do with makeup. So we're going to get started. So I'm going to start out with my Morphe 433. Is this 433? Yeah, my Morphe 433 brush. Again, I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but I want to do something a little bit different and try to use some shades I have not used at least once. So let's go. I think I'm gonna start out with this brown shade, the shade Credit, and I'm going to pack it on the 433 brush, and I'm gonna pack it right in the outer V area on the lid, and I'm lightly packing it, and I'm actually flicking it as I place it on the lid, kind of diffusing it just a little bit, and I'm actually placing it lightly and building it so I can control how much I place and how I blend it, if that makes sense, instead of getting a whole lot of it and then having to blend it out and then I have a whole mess on my eye. So we're going to continue to do it this way, just lightly, very lightly, gently pack it, and it's going to build up on its own. Now you can if you're comfortable with just packing it and then blending it and it works for you, then do what works best for you. I just like to lightly pack my shadows on, especially mornings when I'm going to work like now. So now I'm going to pack it on the other eye, the same thing, and pack it in circular motion, lightly pat it and pack it, and I have the tip of the brush right in my crease area, directly in that crease area, placing a little bit of it right in that area. So I'm going to take a little bit more and pat it on, just to make sure this area is coated really nicely with the shade. And I'm lifting my eye so my crease area can get a wash of this color right in the crease with what's left after packing it on the lid. So this is nice. So it's placing really nice, really nice. So I'm flicking it towards the center of the lid in circular motions like this, very lightly flicking it, and the same thing for the other eye. And you can see where it's kind of like diffusing the edges. So I'm gonna place a little bit more right in the outer V, and I'm not gonna go all the way up to the crease just yet. I just want to make sure it is nicely builded on the lid. So now I'm gonna go in with my ColourPop little blending brush, like pencil brush. I don't know what shade I want to do. This is what confuses your girl. I want to do, so I don't want nothing too deep. Let's do the shade Pinker, this mauve shade, the third shade. I do not know how it's going to look. And we're going to pack it right in the crease area next to the brown shade and build it up until you get it into the crease of the inner corner of the eye. And I'm just lightly packing it. And I'm lifting my eye so I can make sure I place it right in that crease area. Right in that crease area. So we can blend it when we get done placing it, and it's not placed too heavily where I'll be blending for days. Now Anastasia's shadows normally blend pretty good anyway and place pretty good. So I have never had any issues with it so far. So I'm just making sure it's packed really good to my liking before we try to blend this baby. I'm just lifting my eye again just to make sure the crease area is coated really good before we start blending it. Now I'm going to go back in with this Morphe 433. We're going to apply a little bit more brown back to the outer V. And this time we want to pack it a little bit outside the outer V. I have no clue what this is going to look like. But we're going to trust the process. Trust it, because it looks a holy hot mess right now. So now I'm just packing the brown right on that crease area above the outer V. I have no single clue what this is going to look like. So I'm going to go back in with my ColourPop pencil brush and place a little bit more of this shade in the crease again before we blend. So I think we are ready to blend. So now I'm going to take my Lurella small blending brush. Just a Lurella. Yeah. And I'm going to blend the edges in circular motions. I'm going to lift my eye so I can make sure I diffuse the edges before we blend the center of the shadow. And I'm blending in circular motions. Really light circular motions. Only on the edge of the shadow, so I can get it diffused really good. And now I'm doing windshield wiper motions. So now I'm going to wipe off my brush. I forgot to get around, so I'm going to use my towel that's in front of me and blend the other eye. I'm going to lift my eye and just take your time blending these little tiny circular motions to make sure your the harshness is blended really good, because that's the key. Just make sure you take your time blending, and that's why my shadows take about 15-20 minutes, because it's all about the blend of the shadow. So now I'm lifting my eye and just making sure the edges are not harsh, and I'm just flicking them in circular motions. And now I'm doing my windshield wiper motions really lightly, just to make sure it's blended pretty good. You can see they're actually coming together a little bit. So now I'm going to lightly continue to fluff going up towards the brow bone. Make sure we have that nice transition shade. And we can add some more pigment back into it once we get this area blended, because once you get that crease blended, you're pretty good to go with the rest of the shadows. I just like to make sure my crease area is super duper blended. Okay, so I think that is looking okay. So now I'm going to go back in with the mauve shade. I'm going to use the same brush, and I'm going to place it right in the crease down to the inner corner again, because I want to make sure that shadow peeks through. And then we're going to blend this shade again upwards, just to make sure it is seamless with no harsh edges. And I'm doing this so the shadow can go up a little bit above my eye, because the shadows will sit right down in my crease. And when I open my eye, you can't see my shadows, and I don't like that. So I'm just going to blend again, and I'm blending upwards and windshield wiper motion, and you can see how the shadow is up above the crease area. So, and now I am going to use the Wet n Wild fluffy brush. This palette does not have a transition shade that I want to use, so I'm going to go in with my Profusion bronzing palette, and I like this and my Juvia's because they're so light to blend. And since this is a darker shade, I'm going to use the first two on the bottom row and start packing it right under the brow bone. Oh, right above the crease though, and leave that brow bone free of shadow, but make sure it's right on top of that shade in the crease, the purple and the brown. Do the same thing for the other eye. Just make sure I pack it. And I love doing this, especially with these lighter, less pigmented bronzers, because it doesn't pick up a whole lot of product that I cannot blend out, and it's not, you know, too deep. So I'm just making sure it's packed really good. So now I'm gonna go back in with this Lurella brush, and we're going to take a little bit more of this shade Pinker, because I want to make sure the shade is still in that crease. So this time I'm not stamping it, I'm just doing the windshield wiper motion instead of building it, just blending it right back in that area. Taking a little bit for the other eye, do the same thing, just start blending instead of packing and building. I just went straight to blending since we already have it placed where we want it placed. So make sure it's blended really good on this eye as well. So now I'm gonna wipe the brush off on my towel, and then I'm gonna go in with my trying to find this Morphe brush, the 433, one more time with the brown shade, and I'm gonna pack it right on that lash line of the outer V and right on the outer V. I'm not going above that crease area this time, because I just want to make sure the depth is still there in this area of the eye before we apply any shimmers. So I'm just making sure it's placed in that crease area and the outer V area. So now I'm going to take the tip of this brush and lightly flick the shades together and the edges of the brown shade, and flick the center of the shades together. So now I'm going to go back in with the Lurella brush and just make sure the crease area is nice and blend it together, nice and smooth, and the edges are blended. Okay, so now I'm going to use my Wet n Wild brush, and we're going to blend the bronzing shade that we added earlier in windshield wiper motions. So now I'm going to pop on some glitter glue, and I will be right back, because y'all know this part can take out a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes. But I will be right back after I apply this glitter glue. Okay, so I have the glitter glue placed, and I placed it on the center of my lid over to the inner corner, and I used the tip of my finger to place it in the crease area. So I'm just making sure it's nice and smooth and tacky. Now let's see what shimmers we're gonna use. I don't know. What have I not used? I use all the shimmers. Should I go towards this purple or I don't know. Let's see, which one is this? That's more like a topper. Yeah, that's more like a topper. I've used that green. Let's use, that's pretty. Should I do that? Yeah, let's do that. We're gonna use the shade Lituation. I guess that's what I say, Lituation. And I'm using this Morphe synthetic fiber brush, and I'm just packing the shade, and I'm gonna pack it all over the center of the lid and the inner corner of the lid. And I'm using the tip of the brush to place the shadow right in the crease where I used my finger to place the glitter glue. That's actually pretty together. I like it. And do the same thing for the other eye. And it's packing really, really nicely to the shadow. Really, really nice. Take a little bit more. And I'm using the tip of my brush again to place what's left on the brush in the crease of the eye, and I'm lifting my eye also to get it right in that crease area, and just making sure it is blended by patting it in circular motions. But I do like this. It's pretty, like a smoky purple, grayish, I don't know. But I'm going to take a little bit more of this shadow. And I'm going closer towards the outer V. But I'm making sure the entire lid is coated really, really well with the shadow. And the crease has it placed with the tip of the brush. And I like the shape of this brush because it's like right in that crease area. Like perfectly fits, really perfectly right in the crease area. So now I'm going to do my patting motions to try to diffuse the harshness before we add that deeper shade back in there. Okay, so I think that is pretty. So now I'm going to go back in with my Morphe 433 with the brown shade, because we're going to add this shade back into the outer V. And I'm going to place it and pack it right back in the outer V, because I don't want to lose it. Just pack it really, really good. Just pack it. And I'm going a little bit above the outer V area onto the crease area, just because I want the depth to just really, really show in that area. So I'm doing the same thing for the other eye, just patting it and packing it in circular motions on top of overlapping the shimmer, and then patting it right in the crease area above the outer V, just packing it. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back in with the Lurella brush and lightly blend the shades together and this outer V, this brown shade, and make sure my crease area, I'm lifting my eye to make sure the crease is blended well too. And just continue to blend, like just take your time and blend. Okay, so now I'm just making sure this outer V is blended with the crease area. So that is coming together nicely, nicely. So I'm just making sure the outer V on this eye is diffused as well. So now I do want to go in with a little bit more of the pink shade that we used, pinker, because I do want to make sure it's still peeking through this shimmer shade that I placed. So I'm gonna lightly go back and forth right in the crease area, right over the shimmer that we placed. And the same thing for this eye. So I'm going to take a little bit more of the pink. And I'm lifting my eye also, just going back and forth, so that depth can be right in that crease area. I am liking this. It's pretty. So now I'm going to do those really tiny circular motions. So that is perfect. So now I'm going to use my Wet n Wild brush again just to make sure everything is blended, seamless together. And that should do the look. I'm going to get my wipe. Hang on, guys. I normally have it in front of me, but I guess I forgot to get it. So now I'm putting a little micellar water on my wipe. And we are going to loosen up this stuff under the eye. Okay, so so this is the finished look. I do love it, but I'm gonna go ahead and blend out this edges again. I'm gonna use my Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH35, this fluffy brush, just to make sure the edges are blended well, and it's a clean brush. So I'm just going back and forth and windshield wiper motions just to make sure it is tidy and neat and clean looking. I think this is a beautiful look. Really pretty. So I think that is perfect. So this is the finished eye look. I like how the colors blended together. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my face, and I'll be back to show you guys the finished look. See you guys in a bit. Welcome back. This is the finished look. And I love how the look came together. Now to finish my lower lash line, I went in with the shade Credit, the chocolate shade that we put in the outer V, and I applied it all the way to the center of the lower lash line, and then I used the shade Pinker and used that from the center to the inner corner of my eye. This is a nice palette. I love how this look came together. It was easy to do. It blended like perfectly. Although I've had it for a couple of years, still works awesome. Now for my inner corner, I use my Rodeo Drive by Ofra, my highlighter. I pop that in my inner corner. My regular base routine is listed below if any of you want to see how I do my base. Now my bronzer today, I did use my Burkina, and I topped it with my Sonia Kashik, which is a nice deep tan looking bronze. I like that. I like it. But let me know your thoughts on this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment, like, subscribe, become part of my YouTube family here. And if you have this eyeshadow palette, let me know your thoughts on it. Do you still use it? What kind of looks you've come up with, what colors you've used, and everything so of that nature. But until then, I will see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.